Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again, guys. What's going on? I wanted to just clarify something that I missed when I did that reaction and analyzing of the statement given by Madeline Soto's bio dad. There's one thing that stood out to me. There was a lot of things that was said in that interview, and I think I was pretty thorough in examining it. I'm very comfortable with what we did, and I think it was very informative, and the audience pretty much feels the same way as well. And I appreciate all the support that we got on that video. But there's one thing that really stood out to me because I'm all about honesty and integrity to the best of my abilities. I'm a human being. I always fall short at times, rarely, but it happens. You guys, same thing. We all strive to be honest and virtuous people to the best of our abilities, but we're only human, right? And people make mistakes and people do things they regret as well. But I'm a big fan of giving people blame when blame is deserved and giving them grace when grace is deserved. And I think one of the reasons why I was very emotional in this video, aside from the fact that I've had a similar situation with my father where he wasn't there for me as a kid, and then now he's come back into my life as a 40-year-old adult, and he's trying to be the dad of the year. And listen, I've forgiven him, I get it, but you know, it's complicated. These things are complicated. I know what it feels like to grow up without a dad, and how difficult it is for a young person to find their way without that guidance that two parents can give you, whether they live in the house or not. If they communicate with you, if they show you that love, you're still going to get the same result, the same outcome. Okay. But that being said, I didn't like the way that Jen was being portrayed by the father, like everything was her fault, when he would say it's all her fault in not so many words, but then he would talk about the choices and the decisions that he made, and those choices and decisions were not compatible with what you would expect from a good father, right? And one of those things that I missed when I'm listening to his testimony to the cops and then trying to process it in my brain and give you guys an analysis and give you guys critique, etc., commentary, is his timetable for conception of Maddie. And it kind of really reflects on his character. We did a deep dive in his character. You can find that on a Patreon. But it shows you his character through all those documents. It also shows you Jen's character, that Jen is a person who's willing to do a lot for other people. It just appears she wasn't willing to do a lot for Maddie, because Jen did a lot for him after Maddie was already born, at all during the time when this guy is trying to make Jen look like the worst person on the planet. Like, she's kind of like getting in between him and his marriage and getting between him and his child. He's saying it with not so many words, but then he's contradicting himself. Jen is doing really important things for him that affects his freedom. She's supporting him. She's helping him. When I read those documents, I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, wow, that's deep. The fact that she'd extend herself the way that she did, it just made it even more sad that she was not willing or capable of extending herself for Maddie once again. All right. That being said, this slipped by me. I want to play this for you guys real quick. It slipped by me. Let's go.
Are you asking our physical time or like relationship time?
Yeah, relationship time.
We dated when I was 16. I believe we were together for roughly 3 years. And then we ended up having an encounter in 2009 from which Maddie was born.
That's a lie. How many people here is good at math? How old was Maddie when she died? She was like a week out of becoming, 5 days out of becoming 13 years old, right? He said we had a encounter in 2009. Maddie is 13 years old, 5 days out of being 13 years old when she dies. How does that make sense? That you only have one encounter in 2009, and Maddie is 13 years old now. Let's keep going.
Okay.
We were not together at the time. I was with my wife. We were engaged. Well, we weren't engaged yet, but it was around that time.
Got it. Okay. Were you in Florida here, or where were you guys at?
Now, I want to make a correction that I said that the wife was his fiance at the time. He just said that they weren't engaged at the time, but they were together. If he had intercourse one time with Jen Soto in 2009, Madeline Soto would be 15 years old right now, if you didn't catch on to that, guys. If you didn't catch on to that, Madeline Soto would be 15 years old. Another thing that I felt we needed to bring to bear, guys, is that he didn't even know it was Madeline's birthday. Let me cue that up for you.
Arrived at the school that day, and I asked Jennifer what she knew at that moment. She seemed distressed, but I told her, because she was trying to give me a bunch of stories about who had taken who where, and I said, I don't care about details right now. I need to know what you know. Where is Maddie? She did not know. And I said, how long has she been missing? And she said, since this morning. And then I said, okay, I need you to get in contact with the police department if you haven't already, and I would like you to continue to update me. And then she said, okay. And then she had mentioned that it was her birthday, and then when Jennifer and I were talking,
she had mentioned that it was her birthday. She had mentioned that it was her birthday. He didn't even know it was his daughter's birthday, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even know it was his daughter's birthday, guys. This is very disturbing stuff. So I just wanted to point these things out because I missed it. I missed this opportunity. I couldn't even fathom that he would not know that it was his daughter's birthday, that Jen had to make a mention of it to him when she's notifying him that the child went missing. And what was his response? He didn't say, I know it's her birthday, or I called her and I wished her happy birthday. He didn't even call her and wish her happy birthday, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even know that it was his daughter's birthday. Now, some people say, well, ADHD can do that to you. Well, I've spoken to a lot of people that have ADHD. Quite a few have reached out to me. Some of them have said, listen, you are forgetful at times. That's why they, as responsible adults and parents, will set reminders in their cellular phones, guys. If your ADHD will let you become what's called time blind, that these folks is throwing around, never heard of this before till I started hearing from Jen Soto and the Tylers and the Steffens and all these people. They taught me something new, time blind. Okay, cool. They are adults. He does not forget to wake up to go to work in the morning, something he has to do every day. Just like you have that responsibility, your daughter should be your priority. He should have had a reminder in his phone. He did not even put a reminder in his phone to remind him that his daughter's birthday had just passed. After Jen called him up to give him the courtesy of letting him know his daughter was missing, she had to inform him at that time that it was his daughter's birthday.
I had started to mention the statistics of things like sex trafficking in Florida.
And what does he does? He keeps going. He glosses over that. She told me it was his birthday, and then I started telling her about sex trafficking statistics and all this extra stuff. Your daughter's missing. She could have been a runaway. She could have been taking a walk. Could be a misunderstanding as where she was going to go. You automatically assume it's sex trafficking and all that good stuff. I don't know. I'm not going to judge about that. I just think it's a little bit odd that you think the worst. People like to be hopeful when these things happen, that things will turn out, better. But I guess in this instance, because it wasn't just him, Jen Soto said the same thing. Stephen Stern said the same thing. All of these characters who were surrounding by Maddie, they all assumed that she was sex trafficked or kidnapped. Every single one of them. Now, one of them believed that she was at a boyfriend house or a friend house or just ran away on her own and she's safe, but she just, they all assume it was sex trafficking. But those are the two things that stood out to me, guys. The two things that stood out to me was the fact that he lied about when they had their encounter. 2009 does not add up with a 13-year-old girl who's only been 13 for 5 days. Less than 5 days. She'd have been 15 years old. That means that you had sex with her in 2009, and you had it with her a whole lot of other times until she finally got pregnant and gave birth to Maddie in 2011. That makes more sense. But once again, like the detectives were saying, we know your wife is right next to you, blah, 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 blah. You know, you may not want to be as forthcoming because the detective probably picked up on that, didn't want to challenge him on it because he didn't want to start beef on the phone while this guy's wife is there. Like I said it before, and I say it again, and I'm going to end this video. This guy chose his wife over his daughter.